Hello and welcome all in a new video of my channel. In today's video, we will be doing some data analysis with Power Pivot and DAX function. It's a very useful function made by Microsoft. This comes in also Excel, also in Power BI. So what we will do, we will use today it with Microsoft Excel. So for the purpose of today's video, I have selected a sample data set. First, I will load those data set in Excel in a data model and then transform those as required. Then for the purpose, I have selected a sample data set here. All the six tables are here, the six CSV files like customer, date, geography, product, sales, and sales territory. We'll load those one by one. Then we will go for our analysis. So the second thing that we will do after loading all the data set, we will model the data set by creating a connection through the common keys. Like we will develop a model so that those datas or all the CSV files get connected in a logical connection for the purpose of performing some analysis. And then we will see how Power Pivot table works, and that is kind of a bit different from the regular pivot table. We will see that, and then we will move to the most important thing, that is DAX function. This is a very powerful thing. For the DAX function, we will see two things here: how measures works and how calculated column works, and how can we use those for our analysis, data analysis purpose. And at the final, we will see the special DAX function, that is calculate function, and we will explore the functionality and the power of this thing. Okay, so let's get started. Before moving, here's all my data that I have collected. I will give the link of this data set in my description, so that if you want, you can also like check and you can practice and you can follow along to understand the power of Power Query and DAX. So before started doing anything, the first thing that I will do, I will create a blank Excel file here. Let's give it as the model. Okay, I'm just opening this up. My Excel file is open. So the first thing that we will do, we will load. Here's the guideline. We will load in the first phase. We will load and transform all the files in the data model. So let's do it. So here's our Excel file. To load data, we have to go on the data view. On the data tab, from data tab, we will get several options, get data. But as we will load CSV, is very popular. So it's shown here from text or CSV. So we can directly click on here. Okay, if I just go to the data analysis or required folder, let's first load the customer table. So I'm just clicking here and clicking import. So it's creating connection. It will take a bit time. Yep, the view is showing here. So the one thing that I can do, I can directly load it, or before loading, if any transformation is required, I can do that. Let's go to the transform data. Now our customer table is loaded in Power Query Editor. It's kind of different from Excel. It's not the regular Excel file, it's Power Query Editor. So here we cannot perform any cell wise operation, but we can perform the whole column wise operation. Regarding like what we can do, okay, let's say for example, here's the first name of the customer and the last name of the customer. So we can combine those two to create a new column as full name of the customer or customer name. Let's do it. So for the purpose, we are selecting those two columns, and here on the transform, we will see that's merge column. So if we just select the merge column, what it will create, let's see. So it's saying, oh, what separator should I use? I will use a space. Let's see whether space is there. Space. And it is asking me if I want to put a new name for the newly created column, the column that is going to be created. Okay, I will give it as cast name, as customer name. Let's hit OK. Okay, now my two previous column, first name and last name has gone, and new column has been created, that is cust name, and then the full name of the customer is shown. So that's the thing that we can do. And we will also select all the data type here on the top. Like we can see for the birth date, it's showing already in date view, marital status. Okay, everything is seems correct up to now. For those other fields, okay, so if I find everything on, we can load, click and load to. And here's the important thing, we will close and load to, we will click on here, because we will not load it on the Excel. Rather, we will create a connection when we will add this to data model. We know that there is a limitation, kind of like probably 1 million row or some amount, certain amount of loading in Excel file. So if there is a huge data set, that will be that will not be loaded on the Excel. So instead, we have to load it on the data model and through create connection. So what will happen? Whatever the size of the data, this will not create any problem. This will be loaded. Okay, let's load it. Okay, the first file is loaded. In the same way, we will load the other files. Let's load one by one. Let's load the date now, the second one. Okay, let's click on the transform. Okay, so here in the date table, we have only one column, that is full date, and that is already in the date format, is showing in the like corner here. So also we can check it probably from here. Let's see, change type. Okay, it's already in the date format, so we do not need to do anything. But what we can do for the purpose of our analysis, from this date we can derive some other thing. What is the other thing we can derive? We can extract out, we can create a new column that is contains the year, we can create for the month, for the week, for the quarter. So let's go to the add column. For the purpose of our analysis, we will create a new column that is called year. So new column has been created as year. So let's create another column that is with the quarter of the year. And let's create another column for the month. So let's take it as name of the month. Okay, so up to this point we will stop. Let's see, we can do some other thing also based on our need. It's like day of the week or whatever we need. Okay, so what we will do, okay, before moving we can do one thing. Like the quarter is showing us one, quarter one, two. Just we want to add a q in front of the quarter name so that it can be identified nicely or easily. So what we will do, like I'm selecting the quarter column, and from transform, split. Okay, from format there is an option add prefix. So if I want, I can add something in the front or in the back based on my need. So it's showing what value you want to add. I want to add q, and then if I just press enter, then the q, so it will show, it will just added, it has already added all the q's in front of the quarter. It's nice. Okay, for the month, it's kind of like a full month. So if we want to get rid of, like if we want to select the first three letters of the month, we can do the same thing here also. Like I am selecting this month name, and what we have to do, okay, as we have to transform, we can extract. Okay, from here, another important thing that I should share in this position, like there's two tabs here, transform and add column. What's the difference between, like the transform button we will use when we will transform an existing column. Like here we are, I am transforming this month name by selecting only first three letters of this month name. If I want to add a new column, then I have to go to add column here. So what is that thing, like if I select it and from extract, if I create a new column first character, let's see. So I want to add first three character. So what it does, it creates a new column, but I don't want that thing. Like this can also be done, and then I can now can delete it, or directly we could do from the transform, we can easily extract first characters and three letters. Okay, so that's kind of like transform. It will not create another new column, it will just transform the existing column. That's the difference. Okay, so I think up to this point it is fine. So we have loaded the date, and one important thing here is we have to load it only the create connection and add this to the data model. That is the important part. If we just do not press those, select those, then it will be loaded on the Excel file. Also, there is an option to revert that. Like at any time, we can click on any of the those file name and we can click the load to, and we can change our selection. So if we just make any mistake, we can also do that. Rectify it here. Okay, let's take another CSV. Let's take the geography now. Okay, uh, geography key. It's showing me a preview here. Okay, let's think that I will not transform anything from here. So what I can do, I can load it directly to the data model, clicking the load to. Only create connection, load to. Okay, so it's being loaded. And after loading, if I want to see like how that's been loaded, after just hovering over here, I can look on the table, or also if I just double click, it will be also loaded on the Power Query editor and it will show. Okay, so here's one important thing, like in the right side, it shows what the steps are automatically applied. Okay, and if I just do any transformation, that those thing will also show here, like what we did in our table. Let's see. If I just double click here, it will show everything here. Here's all the steps that we have performed in our date table. Like, so if we did anything wrong, we can also like just cross it and that will be removed. Okay, so after geography, let's take another table. We have total 6 tables to be loaded. Up to now I have loaded 3 tables. Now let's load the product table. Okay, this is our product table. Let's transform it. Okay, it's showing us the full view of the table. Just seeing from those, it seems to me like we do not need those other 3 columns apart from product key and product name. Okay, this English product name. Let's change the name of this column also. Rename. Let's give it as only product name, and let's select those 2 columns. And from here, I can select remove other columns. So other 3 columns will be removed, or directly I can do it from choose column. I can select choose column, then from here I can choose which columns I want to keep here. So like for this purpose I do not need these 3, so let's deselect those, and when I click OK, those 3 will be gone, and now I can directly load it on my query connection and data model. Okay, that's loaded. Let's go to the next one. The next one is sales table. After product, let's import that. So before loading, let's transform this if we feel it's needed. Let's see. Okay, now we can see it's product key, it's okay, customer key, sales territory key, okay, sales order number, order quantity, it's numeric, product cost, dollar value, sales amount, it's also kind currency. Okay, let's remove those tax amount, freight, and like due date and ship date. We will not do any analysis on those, so we can remove those. So how we will do it, from the choose column like the previous, we will deselect those and tax amount and freight. Okay, now it looks good. Let's load it. Only create connection, add this to data model. Okay, our sales table is also loaded. Now let's load the final one. Our final table is sales territory table. Let's see. Sales territory, region, country. Okay, so far it seems okay. So we will not transform it, just we will directly load it to data model. So what it's doing is creating a connection only. So from the original location that I am loading the data, it has to be there. If for any reason like only create connection, okay, it's loading, it's just creating a connection. So so for example, it's okay, it's let it be loaded. It's loaded already. Okay, it seems okay. So let's close and okay. My all files are just kept in this folder. So it's creating the connection of with these files. If I just anyway delete those files, then the connection will be broken and we will not get the data in that Excel view. So that's important to keep in mind. Okay, so this is the first step. Like we have loaded all those required all the tables in our Excel. So in the next step, what we will do, we will model the data set by connecting through common keys. Let's see how that works and why that is needed. So whenever we are here, if I just close it, from here we can see like at any time, if I just come on the data model, data tab, from this query and connection, I always be able to access those. And if needed at any time, I can go back those for editing purpose or for any other purpose. It's possible from here, like it's showing. Okay, now we will close it. So in the second part, for creating the connection, you have to go on the manage data model, or it's also possible in Power Pivot in this data model. If that's not possible, if it is not found in here, you have to like activate it from the options. You can do it like searching over the internet. So from this, like this data analysis and like this Power Pivot needs to be on your Excel file loaded, on your Excel view loaded. Okay, so if I just come here, then from manage, if I just go to the manage, it will be loaded in Power Pivot. Like it's showing its Power Pivot. From Power Pivot, I also can see all those loaded table that we added to the data model there. Just 6 tables is showing, are showing. Okay, so to create connection, we have to go on the diagram view. We can do it in many other ways also, like from the advanced, yes, somewhere there is connection, create connection. Okay, here's create relationship is also available here, but it's easier to do the connection through this diagram view. Okay, let's load all those tables so that it comes in our view easily. There's 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. Okay, now we can see all those tables in single view. What we will do now, we will try to connect those based on the common key. So let's look, this is the customer key. So here's our sales table. So if we create the, yes, customer key is also available, so we can connect here easily by dragging, clicking and dragging those. So then you will be able to see the connection has already been created with those in those two tables. So how the connection works here, like it's showing one and it's showing here a star in the sales table, and the direction is this, like the direction will come from customer to sales. So what actually happens here, it has created a one to many relationship. How that works, like here's our customer table, so and this is our sales table. So what is the sales table, like day to day sales is recorded in this table, and in what's the customer table, like all our customers are identified or preserved in this table. So this might happen that one customer might do more than one transaction or more than one sales transaction, isn't it? One customer might come and purchase more than one time. So that will happen like each and every customer will be shown only one time in this customer table, but that can appear more than one time in sales table. That is called one to many relationship. So it is created. Okay, so in this way, let's create other connection here. Like here we have order date. So with that full date, we can connect the order date. It's getting connected, I believe. Yep, it gets connected. And for geography, let's see sales territory here. Let's sales territory key. Let's connect those two. And also we have product key. Let's connect the product key with product key so that we can perform operation. So all the connections are getting created in one to many relationship. What does it mean? Like from where it is showing one, that's only single record, and that can have multiple record on the same thing on the sales table. Okay, so for the geography, we have geography key. We have geography key of the customer also. Okay, so this can be seen in such a way like it is might be an extension of the customer table, like the geography of the customer is preserved in this table. Okay, so if we just reorganize, we can easily see how those tables are connected with each others. Let's reorganize those a bit. Yep, now the view is looks so nice. So from this diagram, we can easily understand that those six tables are connected with one another in which way, like those four tables are directly connected to the sales table, and the geography table is an extension, like is connected with the customers tables with the common key. So and there is an arrow. What does it mean? This is like it's meaning the filter direction. So how that works, like we can come from here to like from any of those tables to the sales table, like we can select a country from here, like from sales territory. This is sales territory country, and from those by those filter condition of the country, we can search the values or for required information of the sales table. Okay, so that's the basic. We will like understand it a bit more in the next one, like on the power pivot. So that's for the second part of this video. Model the dataset by connecting through common keys. Now we will perform some power pivot operation. Let's see how that power pivot works and what's actually power pivot. Okay, so we have come to our Excel file. Okay, just before doing that, that's already loaded in power pivot. So from power pivot, let's close those. Okay, this is a power pivot. So it's already loaded and the connection has already been created. Now we can save and we can just click on those small Excel file, switch to workbook. So with that we can easily switch here. Now if we just go in the insert, or even from insert, from power pivot, there is an option like we can insert a power pivot from directly data model. So what it will happen, what it will do, it will give us an option, like let's create a new worksheet. It will give us an option to work in all those loaded six tables at once. So and the connection has already been created, so we can work, we can do any analysis at the same time from all those six tables. But if it would be a normal pivot, if it would be a, like only pivot tables, and it won't be able to do those operation. It works only for the one sheet or the one table. Now it can perform operation across multiple sheets. Okay, so let's do some common analysis here. Let's resize it to see all the fields. Okay, so what we can do, let's do something, let's just try to understand some basic thing. Here's the sales, isn't it? So if I just drag the value, here's the product key or the sales or the sales order number. So if I just drag it on value, so what it will show, it is giving me a count. So what it is showing, it is showing that in our dataset, this dataset, there's 58,189 different transactions or the counts of rows. And if I want to see it based on like date or the year, I can also easily do that. I'm just going the other tables like date, and I'm just dragging the date on the row. So now the nice thing is showing me the breakup, is it? Where how many transaction happened. We can see the transaction occurred, then the number of transaction increased over the year, like from 2005, 6, and 2007, the transaction increased in a huge volume. And if I just want to see it in a like breakup with quarter, that can also be possible. Like I'm seeing here in the quarter wise, and it's showing me the view in a different format, like based on the quarter on the like columns and year on the rows. Like we can do a lots of thing here. What's the other thing that we can do? Let's take another thing, and let's see how many female or male customer we do have. So let's see whether we can do it or not. Let's bring this out. So we have to do the transaction where it can be done in any of those, like product key, and in just we are counting sum of product instead of like we have to select count of the product, then it will count the row number, is it? And from our customer table we have probably here the gender, so we can just drag the gender here, so we can now see how many male customers we do have, how many female customers we do have. And if we want to see it from the angle of like married or not or single, that can also be shown here. And if we just want to see it in this view, that is also possible. Like in this way we can like play with this data set by power pivot table, so it's like really easy and comfortable to so to see or to understand any insight from here. So there's a thing that we can do. There's a lots of couple of options here, like you can drag and drop anything and you can see what's the impact here, and you can change the settings, like you want count or you want average or whatever you want, you can see that those things. Okay, so I we have here another thing. Let's see whether we can see that from the sales table we have order quantity. Order quantity, let's drag it here. Let's bring this out, bring this out. So this is order quantity, like 60 609,000 orders, like product were orders during those years. Like we have 4 years here, 2005 to 2007. Let's drag it and see. It's shown 2005 to 2008. So we can see like based on the order quantity, okay, how many orders we do have. And if I just click it on the sum, then we will again move to this, like let's drag the same thing again, order quantity, and let's make it for the count. Let's just count. So what is showing? It's showing that in 2005 we had 1000, nearly 1000 transaction, and 10,000 products were ordered in that year, in those 1000 transactions. So the same way like in 2007, like 24,000 transaction happened, and 255,000 products were ordered. So these are the things that we can do through power pivot. That's different from the like a regular pivot table, because we can connect multiple tables, we can work with multiple tables here. So this is one way of accessing power pivot. With the other way from accessing power pivot is here, if we just go in the model and manage, then from this pivot table view we can also click on power pivot. Okay, here we can generate power pivot chart or everything. Okay, let's close it. Let's go back to the Excel. So this is the second like third part of our today's video, power pivot operation. Now we will introduce a different thing, that is a DAX function, and we will introduce two different things, measures and calculated column. So how, why the DAX function is required and how powerful it is, what type of analysis can be done, we will see it. Let's go to the video, our Excel file again. Okay, here's our Excel file. Let's delete this sheet. Okay, if we just go on the data tab, so here we can see we have sales table. So just for the for an example, if we want to see something like how many transaction happens, we could be able to see it from the power pivot. But if we want to see something like with a function, with just formula, we want to see how can we do that, that can also be done. Like let's see how we can do this. Let's go to the Excel file. Okay, in Power Pivot we have an option for the measures. So we will create a new measures. Let's do it together and let's see how that works. Okay, so in which table we want to create the measure? We want to create the measures on the sales table. It can be done at any table. So what will be the name of the measure? Let's see. We want to see numbers of transaction. I'm just giving the unique name, and from here I can write the formula. So what we will do, we will count rows. Here's the function. Okay, DAX measures count rows, and from sales table we just need to provide the table name here because it will count all the rows of the table. Okay, let's close the bracket and we can check the formula whether it is okay or not. It's no error in the formula, so the formula will work. And what we will do, we will want it as the number format and the decimal number, and we want as a comma separator, thousand separator. Let's create the measure. So what happens? A new measure has been created. We cannot see it anywhere. Where that has gone? If we just click on the measures again from the manage measures, we can see that that has been created. So if we want to see the value of this new measures, let's insert a pivot column, pivot table from data model. So okay, let's do it in this. Let's load it here. From this table, we have created it on the sales table, isn't it? At the bottom of the sales table, you can see this is the number of transaction measures that we have created. So what measures do? Measures actually aggregate the full thing always. So it counts all the rows of the sales table and it gives a value. Let's see the value. Here's the value, 58,000, the number of transactions that we have. We can see it from somewhere else. Like from here, we can see it. If we just go on the our model, so instead of diagram view, if we go to the data view, like we have created on the sales table. So if we just load the sales table here, sales, at the bottom of sales table, we can see the measures. You can see here it's showing at the bottom of the sales table. So it can also be seen from here. Okay, let's go here. So we have seen the number of transactions. So what other thing that we can see? Let's look on the sales table once more to understand. So here's our sales table again on Power Editor view, Power Query Editor. We have count of rows, like how many count? We have 58,000 something, like number of transactions. But here's another column we do have, that is order quantity. In each transaction, there might happen that more than one quantity order was ordered. Like in this transaction, 18 numbers of products were ordered. In this transaction, 12 numbers of products were ordered. So what we can do, if we want to see like how many total products were ordered on all those 58,000 transactions, we can also do that. Let's close, load it, and let's write another measures here. Why we are writing measures? That's another important thing here. Like it's aggregating the full table in one single value, so it is measures. So there's another concept that is called calculated column. We will check that a bit later. Before that, let's work on this thing. So let's create measure, new measure. What we will do on the sales table, we will do, and what we will do here, total order quantity, total products ordered. I think this will be perfect. Reduce total products, total number of products ordered. Number PRODU. Okay. Now what we have to do, we have to sum. What we have to sum? We have to sum the sales column. Whenever you will start writing, it will show everything here. Like here, I can see sales order number, but also apart from this, there is another option that sales order quantity should be here. Order quantity. Okay. If I just select it and I press tab, then it will be filled automatically. Then I have to close the bracket. Now it has become black. This first bracket also has become black, so it's perfect. And if I want to check the formula, it's showing it's okay. Okay, no problem. So I want to see it as number and with comma separator. So another measures has been created here. What is that? That is, it will not be able to see it from here. We have to go to this that data view again from here. Let's go to the data view. Okay, power pivot actually is the middle of an action of the block intersection with data model. Okay, if we just want to see it, oh, we can also like load it on this power pivot table. Let's load it on this power pivot table. Show field list. So what we have loaded here, number of transaction. So in the sales table, we will see now another measure, that is number of products ordered. Let's see it. Now we can see there's 58,000 transactions and 609,000 products were ordered. We can also like dig down it now. Let's see it on the year wise. Let's see. If I just drag the year here, it's showing me. Okay. Number of transactions and number of products ordered on this transaction. We can also like see it on the quarter breakup or anything. Okay, let's try to gain something from this. So this is our year wise and based on year and quarter wise sales, number of transaction and number of products ordered. So I want to see the trend, like how sales grow in the past of those 5 years. So let's select those, and from here we can insert recommended chart. That's like it will recommend us some several charts. So let's select line chart. Okay, let's select this thing and this thing. Okay, whatever it is. Okay. From here we can see like the orange column is showing total number of products ordered, but here's the problem, like those two things are not same. One is number of transactions and one is number of products ordered, so that's different. If I just plot it on the same thing, it will not show us that any like a realistic thing, is it? Because number of transactions should always be lower than the number of products ordered on those transactions. So what we can do, we can change it a bit. Okay, so if we just label it, if we just select any of the label, and if we select change series chart type, so from here we can label at any of those label in the secondary axis. Like let's click it here, like let's put it in the secondary axis. So now we can easily, let's close it. Now it shows there is a relation, is it? There is a huge jump of the sales quantity and sales order from the second quarter of 2007. Before that, the sales and the order quantity like both were stable on the same line. The way order we got the number of transactions, and the same way we got the number of products. Like, but here we can see a difference. Like from the second quarter of 2006 7, there has a gap started arising, is it? And day by day it's increasing. What does it mean? It means as we are moving, we are making more per unit, more number of product sales per transaction. Like before that, the transaction number of products for the transactions were kind of same in the same rate, but here it's increasing, so it's a good sign. Like kind of like previously we sold 20 items in two orders. Now we are selling more than 20, like 22 or 23 items in two orders. So this these are the gaps is increasing. So this is the one thing that we can derive, and we can understand like using this DAX function and those pivot chart. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So what's the other thing? So this is the an example of measure that we have done just now. Okay, we have uh, selected the number of transactions, the total number of products ordered measures, and we use those in a pivot table. So the thing that we will do now, we will do the calculated column use. So what's that mean? So to understand that thing, let's go back to our sales table. So this is our power pivot area. So in the sales table, you can see like we have order quantity here. We have product standard cost, that is per unit cost, like every product cost of every product, and here's the sales amount of every product. So from those things that we can generate, we can easily derive our net income, isn't it? So how can we derive that? We can derive like just by multiplying order quantity with sales amount, we can derive the revenue, and multiplying this order quantity with the standard cost, we can derive the cost, and by like deducting those two, we can derive the net income. So let's do this. How can we do this? So as we have to create how this operation will work. This operation will work like kind of we want to know the total revenue of each transaction, each and every transaction of this row sales table, isn't it? So like it affects each and every row of this table. So it's kind of like we have to add a new column. Previously we worked on the measure, just aggregate the value in a single value. Now it will generate value for every rows or records of this table. So we need calculated column. How can I do that? Let's click on the add column here, and then we have an option to write function here. It is also a DAX expansion. So what we will do in this DAX expression, we will take the sales tables. Like it's not mandatory to write sales table because we are in this table, but as a standard practice I am writing the sales table. It's showing me all the values of all the fields of this sales table. So what we will take order quantity, and we multiply this order quantity with product sales amount. Okay, so sales amount, like this table is the our per unit sales price. So let's select it and let's press enter. So what will, let's see that it will derive a value for every rows. So it's working. So it has already derived. It takes a bit time to calculate all the rows. So what this column, we can rename this column, it's kind of revenue. So what we did, we multiplied sales amount with order quantity. Now, and here's the expression. Like if I just click on the this column, I can see the expression here on this column, this formula bar. That is the expression. So we have got our revenue. So if we just want to see, if we want to see the other thing, like let's see the cost or the cost of goods sold, like what was the cost of those selling of those products. So what we have to do, sales, we have to again sales. So we have to take number of transactions, no, order quantity again, and we will do it, we will multiply it with sales cost per unit. What is that thing? Number of transaction, order, customer, product quantity. So this is standard product cost. So enter. So what it will generate, let's say. Okay, so we have got another table that is called cost, or we can say it cost of goods sold. It's cost of goods sold table. So this is our cost table, this is our revenue table. Like from those two tables we can easily derive our net income table. So let's do it again. So this is the thing that we are calculating some columns using DAX expression. So let's write another formula, equals sales. We have to deduct revenue of the sales, revenue minus sales. Probably I have to space. Okay. I have probably made a mistake. Let's write it again. We have to select here and we have to start writing equals to sales revenue. Let's select where is the revenue, press tab, then minus, then sales, and then cost of goods sold. Okay, now if I just press enter, it's calculating. It will take a bit time, so we will get net income table, isn't it? Net income field from here. So it's our net income, so let's rename it net income. Net income. And if we just save it, and if we go back to our data model, what we will see, we will find those three newly created column. Okay, it's working. Okay, it's loaded. Still renaming. As there's like 58,000 transactions or the record, so it takes a bit time to perform the task. And as it's operating like row wise, so like one by one, it takes a bit time. Okay, so it's done. So let's go back to our Excel. So if I just let's take a new pivot table, insert from data model. It's kind of not pivot, it's really power pivot. And from here, now we can see we have a newly created table, that is net income. Here's the net income. Now if we want to see the net income, so here's our net income. So if we want to see also, it is kind of like date wise or the year wise, that we also can see. Here's the value. Okay, so if we add the quarter wise, we can also do that. And if we want to like remove those and see it as a country wise, that we also can do. Let's see it as country wise. There's a country, province, state name, English country name. Okay, so now you can see which country is giving. Like we can also sort it. We can also sort from ascending or descending. Let's sort it. So United States and the Australia has given us the most net income, and the Canada has the lowest in the net income. So if we can also plot it in a graph to see the trend, like from here, if we just ask Excel to give us a chart line, we can see this is kind of like it's easy to see in the bar graph. So from here we can see we have more sales with the United States, then Australia, then Canada. Okay, so this is the one thing. You can also here we can also format this number as per our need. Like this is full view. If we want to format it as million, we can also do it easily with this format cell special function, a custom function. Let's write it dollar, then we want to get it as two decimal point, then we want to divide it at the thousand by million, so it's showing the change on the above. Okay, here the showing is getting changed. This is the full view. The dollar will be added in the first, this will be the divided by thousand, this will be divided by million. Now we also want to see m at last. It's showing. Okay, so if I just click OK, like it will show us the values. So like the view or the understanding is for the representation is easier to format it. Now it shows us like the table chart is kind of more meaningful or easily understandable on the left axis. Okay, okay, so let's do it. Let's do it year wise. Let's see what's happened. If we just go on the pivot table list and let's bring this out and take geography, no, not full date, year date, and quarter. Now let's plot this information in the graph. Let's see the trend of our net income. Insert, click comment, and if I just see it on the line graph, okay, column, whatever it is, let's think. Okay, so this is the thing that we can see. We can see the growth over time or the sales and net income over time for our data set or for our company. So from this table, this chart, we can see that like our profit grows, net income grows, but it is not in line with the previous one. Like the transaction grew very rapidly that we saw. Okay, let's explore that thing again. Let's go back and let's check it's inside another new pivot table so we can understand the thing. So what's happening here? On data model, if we take, okay, let's take this one and sales. What is that thing? Okay, number of transactions and number of product orders and year wise. Let's take year and quarter. Okay, let's plot this data again. If we now let's do it for the area chart in the same way. Let's format this as charge type. Let's put it on the secondary axis. Okay, so now we can see like for those this chart, the sale number of transaction grew very rapidly in a steeper rise from like 10,000 or 1,000, like it's kind of 1,000 in the middle of this 1,000 to kind of like 1600 16,000. So more than like 16 times grew. So but in this table it didn't grow that much amount. Like the net income grew from like 5 million, or if I just consider the second quarter, like from 5 million or 7 million to just 23 or 24. So three or four times. So why that happened? Like if I just put it side by side, then you can easily compare it. Like now I think from this chart it can easily be compared. Let's resize this chart. Okay, now from here we can easily understand. Like from 2000 it rose up to 18,000 from this second quarter of 2007 to like last quarter. But here from second quarter of 2007 it just grew three or four times. Here it grew 16 times. Why that? Like number of transaction and order quantity increased, but profit didn't increase on that time, that like in proportion to that amount. So what could be the reason? So let's explore this thing. Like we have found an interesting insight, so we can dig down deeper. So in if we just go in the sales table where that is, okay, in our sales table we have the amount of all the products, where it is sales orders, error quantity, product standard cost. So the one thing can happen that probably the more less values product were sold more in the later stage. This can happen. That's why, like from here, like probably the less values or less valued product were sold more. That's why though the sale increased a huge quantity or huge proportion, the profit didn't increase on that proportion. That increased, but not in like the same way. Like it grew 16 times and it grew only four times. So to understand the thing better, let's do something else. Like we can think that we can categorize our product, like our product cost. Let's see what's the range of our product cost. It like cost from 86 to 2000. So product cost varies. So there is a huge range. So the thing that we can categorize our product based on several criteria. Like just let's say for example, if we just take the range, let's go to the here and let's take another sheet, not here, another pivot table from data model. Here we will generate a range of product price, sales product price, where it is production cost, sales amount, sales order number, product standard cost. Okay, so product standard cost. So here we can see all the different product standard cost. Here's the highest, here's the lowest. So if we just multiply these from these, like the very nominal, we can see like we have an average 200 100 range. Okay, if we just consider its product cost, if we consider it for the sales amount, let's see, because cost is kind of relative, sales amount is that we charge the customer. Okay, let's change it. Show pivot list, not this amount, it's not that cost, sales amount per unit. Let's see. So now we can see, let's take the range equals to highest one to the lowest one. Next one, so it didn't work. Okay, so let's do it again. Equals to this minus this. So from here we can see like we have a huge varieties range. We have like near about 300 3500 range, like in the difference between less priced value or cheap product to the maximum or the highly costly product. So we can like take a range, we can categorize our product based on five categories, like very costly to very cheap. Let's see what happens, and then we can identify like whether the we can see whether the more cheap products were sold in the later time. That's why that happened. So how can we do that? We can another take a another write a calculated column to on the sales field, sales table. Let's do it. Here we have to go into the data model, and in the sales table we are here. So we will use a kind of different uh, another Excel function, DAX function, that is called switch. So what it will take, it will, well, let's write it, then we will explain it. Okay, we have written switch. Now just put a curly bracket. So let's write true. Okay, so now we have to give the expression. Like expression has given, while this thing is true, what it will do, we have to give value and the result. So what's the value? So we want to see if the sales amount per unit, sales amount like per unit product sales price, sales order number, sales order quantity, product key, sales amount, that is per unit sales amount. If it is more than, like we found 300 3500. So if we divide it in the five category, like let's say if it is more than 2800, then we will define it as very costly product. Cost to, so it's still on the value. Now if I just put comma, it will show me. Now press the result. Okay, let's take it as, okay, the very costly product, let's give is one as value, and very costly COS. Okay, so if the product price is more equal to or above 2800, then it will be categorized as very costly. Now let's put another comma again and the result 2. Okay, we have to close the inverted comma quotation, then it's showing me the value 2. Now provide us the value 2. So we can like copy the same thing, we do not need to write this again and again. Okay, so if the sales price is greater than, so on the next band we say like 2100. So this will be kind of like not the very costly, it will be kind of costly. So let's the second level we are just taking 1 and 2 in front because so that it gets sorted based on the number. Okay, unless it will be sorted based on the like first letter, so it will not be sorted properly. That can also be done, but let's take it simply. So it will be costly. Okay, let's bracket close it with inverted comma, inverted no bracket, and okay. So if I just take this thing again, if the value would be 1400 and above, then we want to show it as moderate priced. Okay, let's put 3. We're going to put the bracket moderate, then close the bracket. So now let's take that again, and if the price is above 700, then it will be can categorized as cheap. Cheap. Let's close the bracket. And what's the remaining thing? Remaining thing is kind of less than 700 because we have taken everything above 700. So the thing it will be like less than 700. Then the remaining all those things like whatever remains, we will categorize it as very cheap. Okay, our expression is already written. It's a bit long expression as we have categorized in the 5 different category. If we just press enter now, we will see that a new column will be generated based on the category, the based on the price, the category of the like cost or the price category, how costly the product is getting calculated. Now we can see it's already calculated. So let's rename this chart price category. So if we just save it and let's go back to the Excel. Now let's take another pivot table, insert data model. Okay, let's start here. So what we will do from the sales, we will take now price category. So okay, this column it will be has to be shown in very costly of those categories. And now if I just take date from the year and quarter, and for the value that we have to take is the sum of quantity ordered. Where is that? Ordered quantity. Okay, so from this table we can easily see, here we can see like in 2005 we sold only 2 categories based on our category, only very costly product and very cheap, but very cheap product is very less small amount. Most of the products are very costly and we haven't sold anything of those costly products starting from third quarter of 2006. 6, like it's showing there's no selling of this hyper product. Rather, we have started selling a huge amount of very cheap product from second quarter of 2007, like it can be seen. Okay, let's remove this grand total and let's plot it on a table, on a chart, then it can easily be identified. Let's do this. Okay, so if I just go on the product design, I can turn off grand total of row and column, so grand total will be gone, has gone. And if I just report this as compact form on a tabular form, so it will be seen very nice. I can also like visualize this in a bit different way. By we can do it easily, like from home we can turn on this color scheme to see the magnitude of the value, or also we can turn on this data label. So this data label easily showing us like here's the huge amount, is it, and these are all the cheap products, and these are sold from 2007's third quarter onward. So this kind of explains why there's too much sales or the quantity of transactions but not that much profit in proportion. Okay, if we just plot those in a table, stacked bar chart, probably we'll see it a bit better way. Insert column, stacked column. Okay, from this table you can easily see. Okay, so this is for the very costly. Let's change this very costly as different color. Let's put it as the color so that we can identify it better. Let's put it red. Okay, so now it can be easily identified. Now we can easily see the distribution of our sales. Like we can see only those red products, those are high cost products, those are sold only for the first 4 quarters, like last 2 quarters and the first 2 quarters of 2006. There's no more selling of those costly products. And those the blue color shade, these are all very cheap product here. These have started being sold from second quarter of 2007, like the third quarter of 2007, as huge quantity. So this explains why that happens. Like due to a huge amount of sale increase, the profit didn't increase that proportionally. So there's the another thing that we can derive from the DAX function and from pivot table analysis through the chart. So up to now we have seen the DAX function. Now we will see how the calculate function or calculate DAX function works. Calculate DAX function is kind of different thing. It always takes a filter up with it, so that it takes that filter especially and it ignores any filter that comes in the pivot table format or the power pivot. Let's explore that thing, then we will be able to understand. Let's go to our Excel worksheet, and to understand that, okay, this is not that, it's power pivot, this is the Excel worksheet. Let's take a new sheet. So let's have a look on our sales column. Here's the sales column, sales table. So what we can see, like from the order quantity, we can see like their order quantities like it varies. Some in some transactions, some order there is only one product. In some transactions there's more than one product. So we want to see like what's the contribution of our bulk order. Like say for example, for this calculation analysis, we are thinking if any order contains more than five or more than five, five and above, that is called considered as bulk order. Like this is a bulk order, for example, this is a bulk order, but this is not a bulk order. Okay, so we want to see what sales amount is contributed based on the bulk order. So in this case we can take a calculate function. Let's see how this works. Let's go to the table, Excel file. Let's write a new measure here. Let's take the new measure. So let's give it name as bulk sale, bulk sale value, bulk sale revenue. Okay, so how this thing will work, we will calculate the sales table We will calculate the revenue. That's sum of the revenue. Whereas the aggregation has the, we will calculate the sum of the revenue, but we will not take revenue of all the sales. We will take revenue only sales where sales quantity is more than a particular value. Like then we have to give the filter here where sales and order quantity. Where the order quantity where sales order quantity is greater than equals to 5. Okay, let's close the bracket. Seems okay. Let's take the formula. Now it's showing there's no value. Let's take number. Okay. Now if I just take, let's create a new column. Let's take a new power pivot table from here. Let's take a power pivot from data model. Here we are creating. Let's take sales. Here's the revenue. Where is that? Sales amount. Here's the revenue. Take it in value and also take the bulk sale. Made a mistake on the spelling. Okay, bulk sale revenue. And now if I just take it, the date, we can see the quarter, and if we just format it, okay, let's rectify the name. Pivot table analyze. From in the pivot table we will see all the measures. From the new measure, manage measures, we can like modify those measures. Okay, this is bulk sale. Okay, let's edit it and rectify the name. BLK. Okay, my name is rectified. It gets rectified automatically. Bulk is showing. So if I just now format this whole table, can see. Okay, okay, let's take data table. Then it will be easier to understand. Data bar from here. Where conditional formatting data bar. Just format those same way. Oh, yes, just format it. Number format, custom. The same thing again we are doing here. I have to do the same thing for again for this. Here we can see one thing, like whenever we drag the field value, the so what we have dragged, we have dragged the sum of the revenue, this column. So what it takes all the sum of the revenues and it like divides based on this filter. But okay, let's for the purpose of understanding, let's delete those two things. So here it takes the sum of the revenue, but whenever it is considering this bulk sale, what it is taking, it's not considering the total sale, it's considering based on that formula, based on the formula where it is written that it will take only these are above where the order quantity is more than 5. So whenever we see, like see, like most of the order were taken by the bulk revenue. So if I just want to take a divide, like let's divide it. This is total sale divided by this thing. Let's understand. So now from here we can see like 94% or more than 94% in 2005 were generated by bulk sale. So it also saying for this thing I believe. Let's take and let's get an understanding. So this is the thing. Okay, so from here we can also write another DAX function to understand this thing. Like we can understand, we can write a DAX function here. Let's go right. We have already a DAX function measure, new measure. So let's copy it. Okay, new measure. Percentage of bulk sale. Percent PRC percentage bulk revenue. So what it will do, let's take it divide. It will divide, then we have to give the numerator. In numerator it will take only the sales value, sales revenue amount, revenue where, okay, we have to provide a calculate here because we are giving a condition. So in numerator, what is the expression it will take? It will filter based on where order quantity is count of product key, count of order quantity is greater than equals to 5, then what it will take as denominator, okay, it's filter, then it will take a denominator here, so we will give again sales sum of revenue. Okay, so if I just take, let's take the formula. Since already appears to be incomplete, please review. Okay, we have to probably close the bracket. Yep, now it should be okay. Sales order quantity, count of quantity is greater than 5, sales sales revenue, sales, okay, not count, we have to provide this column. It should be order quantity, this thing. Okay, now it should be okay. Yep, let's put number. If we take it percentage, now we can see from here, like most of the sales, like 95% of our sales are generated from bulk order. The revenue are generated from the bulk order. We can show it as percentage format by just simple formatting from here. It also supports this percentage. So this is the thing. So from this table we can see like now 95% are sales are generated from the bulk. So this is the thing that calculate function, it ignores and it takes a special filter. Okay, so that's all from today's video. So today's video we have seen that how the DAX function works and how to do the data analysis using DAX function and the power pivot, and how power pivot can work multiple Excel file or multiple CSV file, multiple data source with Power BI model together to derive some powerful analysis. That's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. See you on next time on any other video. So another thing, if you just find this video useful, or if you have any concern or question, just put in the comment section, and also please consider subscribing my channel. Thank you so much.